Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the greatness of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas and the surrounding areas. People, places, experiences. Hot Springs Village is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and my co-host Dennis Simpson as we engage in weekly conversations to explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live at kvre.com. RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village. The award-winning RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village is the largest real estate office inside the village with over 30 full-time agents and support staff. Visit them to learn more about this beautiful place to solve your real estate needs. Call them today at 1-800-364-9007. Find them online at explorehsv.com. They are RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village at 1-800-364-9007 or online at explorehsv.com. Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Ike has qualified for State Farm's President's Club, Chairman's Circle, and Hot Springs Village Insurance Agent of the Year. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there.
So, Christy, what does it take to be a good law enforcement officer?
A little sense of humor is absolutely guaranteed. You have to have a little bit of a sense of humor to be a good law enforcement officer.
So let me get this straight. So it's not just being able to say those aren't my pants, which apparently is now your catchphrase, right?
Apparently so. Who would have ever thought?
Who would have known? You got to watch what you say on the show, Christy. We will take you and move it around a little,
That's okay. I'll take that. That's good.
And you know what I think? I think that, and this ties right into the segue where we wanted to go. I personally think great sense of humor. It's hard. I heard somebody say one time that laughter is the release of fear. And there's Absolutely. A lot of times when officers and your staff are in that position, right?
Sure.
So where I'm going with that is that there's a new number out, and I don't know that everybody knows about this, but it's the 988, and it's suicide and crisis for mental health, right? Do you know much about that?
I know enough about it to know that they'll answer you instantaneously and do everything they can to offer you as many resources as possible. And I think it's excellent because as we're going into January and February, those typically tend to be the highest suicidal months that we see. And it's not just age typical to youth or adults or elderly people. It's kind of across the board. And I think it has to do with so many different things coming from the holidays and financial situations. You just never know what anybody is going through until you are able to encounter them. A lot of times our officers do encounter them in a 911 call situation, and they're asking for help. And that's a great hotline and resource for people to utilize before they have to call 911 because they offer great assistance, and there's several different things that you can go through with them, and they answer immediately.
Well, and before we hit the record button, we were joking, and in every way, this is Mayberry. It's a divine place. And we were talking about, I'd mentioned that there was a couple that they would call the ambulance about 5:30 every Friday afternoon to help the medvac people, help them get in the car to go to dinner on Friday night. Not exactly what 911's designed for. Is that correct?
You're right. That is not what 911 is designed for. And I'm going on 9 months here. So it's been an incredible transition, but there's some things that really I've noticed that kind of concerns me. And one of those things are people are utilizing the 0011 non-emergency line to call in emergencies.
Now, hang on. This is 922-0011?
Yes, that's our non-emergency line. And we're seeing that people are utilizing that number to call in their emergency. And there's several things that is bad about that situation. That number is utilized all the time, and you can call for any information. We'll help transfer you to where you need to be, whether it's POA, member services, animal control, those kind of things. But we're also finding that a lot of people are calling 911 or I'm sorry, calling the 0011 number instead of 911, dealing with the medical emergencies or dealing with domestic situations. And they're calling that number. And what people need to realize is that is a non-emergency line. It takes a few minutes to get routed to dispatch. And then when dispatch receives that call, they're not able to put it in the 911 system. And the reason why we want you to utilize that 911 system is because of there's a plethora of reasons, but my biggest reason is because it's a delay. It's going to keep a big delay going because when you call 911, that information system captures a lot of information that you're not able to tell us maybe immediately, your location, where you're at, the line you're coming from, and it's taking a lot of critical time to be able to get emergency services to you, whether it's a fire, EMS, or police. So I'm trying to get word of mouth out to educate people to we really need to utilize that 911 number. For specifically, we had an incident where a lady was having a medical crisis and she was calling 0011. That line was busy. So she kept calling and calling that 0011 number. And it took quite a bit of time for us to even realize that. But also it's not a recorded line as it is for 911. It doesn't give us our times, our dispatch. And that's what we really need to keep in our database and system. That's why when Miss Betty calls because she has a medical emergency, when she dials 911, it's going to pop up all the other times. That's why if she's unable to communicate with us, we at least kind of get enough information to know what we may be going for.
So you would have a historical backlog if you dialed on 911, whereas if you're dialing on the 0011, which and look, we joke about Mayberry. Hey, Sarah, put me through to Well, we live in a bigger world these days, and things get busy, and the lines get busy, and we can't track it or can't give you the best service. Let's go down the flow chart here real quick, okay?
Okay.
Diane and I were down in on the south side of Lake Cortez walking the Hernando de Soto Trail. Beautiful place. It's 7:45 at night. It's June. It's getting dark. Our puppy has run away, and I realize we're between busy roads. I'm not going to call 911, but I'm going to call 0011 and say, if anybody reports anything on the road, that's my dog. Let me know he got away, blah, blah, blah. Tell me the right instance. And I'm not trying to split hairs, but for 911, obviously not helping me get in the car or to go to dinner is a 911 thing, but is it life or limb? Is it just, tell me, be a little more granular there.
It's very hard to describe because what your definition of emergency is going to be different than mine. Okay. So I try to recommend if it's dealing with human life, anything dealing with human life that can create an element of death or a major injury, always call 911. And that's what if you smell smoke. If you smell smoke in the area and you don't know where it's from, call 911. We had a house fire, a major house fire right before I got here, and it was on Lake Balboa, and that call came in on the 0011 line. So that is wasting precious time on getting first responders out to you immediately. So like I said, it's very difficult to create a list, a flow chart, like you would say, of, okay, is this it? We call 911 for here, non-emergency line. It's kind of difficult to do that. So I always like to say, if it's involving human life, call 911 in any circumstances. Now, if it is not an emergency, but you might think it's an emergency because you just, and I hate to use this example, but you're in a panic because you need to know how to cook a turkey. It's happened before.
Are you serious? The turkey?
Happened before. Not here, but I've seen that. You know, the dispatchers are well trained to say, yes, ma'am, I understand that. This is the 911. This is not an emergency situation. We need you to hang up and call the non-emergency number. Now, that being said, you know, there's also individuals who do abuse our 911 system, and that also has consequences. It's against the law to abuse our 911 system. Thankfully, we've not had to deal with that here. We don't want to. We absolutely don't. But we need to get the word out that if it's involving a medical situation involving you or your family member, or even if it could potentially turn into an emergency situation. Let me give you an example. You're driving by and you see your neighbor who normally is walking in that area, and you see the dog running that he normally has. But you don't see him.
Oh.
So does it involve you? No. But could it involve a medical situation or a life or death situation? Sure. Now, maybe the neighbor dog got out with his leash on and he was getting ready. And officers, when they get there, they're kind and courteous to understand those kind of situations. But we don't want to waste precious time. Number one, we always want to be good neighbors. Number two, we don't want to be like, oh, that's not an emergency. His dog's out. I'm just going to just call the non-emergency number. Okay. In this case is what I would recommend is calling 911 and saying, hi, my neighbor, Jim, he's normally walking his dog. I see the dog on the leash in the road, but I don't see him. And just let the officer come and check it out. We're not going to consider that an abuse of 911 if we get there and we see Jim going, I didn't even know my dog was gone. But at least we know Jim is okay and that he's not in a medical situation where maybe he's lost consciousnness or he's in a ditch somewhere. We don't even want to go to that route. Yeah. We want to be there as soon as possible.
Well, and it's one of those instances in my mind where if Jim has had a history of cardiac trouble, sure, and you see the ambulance there once every 6 months, 5 months, you probably ought to call and check.
Right.
If Jim's healthy and 25, you might not call as quickly, right?
Sure.
Well,
it's always best to be safe than sorry.
It is. And listen, in the vein of a public service, I want to share this. Okay. 1-800-Butterball. I'm just telling you, 1-800-Butterball. I know because I work at the radio station every Thanksgiving and Christmas, we all get turkeys and there's the Butterball hotline to ask how to prepare. See, and you're wondering how to cut the turkey. They will tell you how to cut the turkey.
That's amazing information. We'll make sure PSA out on that when it gets closer to Thanksgiving time.
And they said Inside Out was only fluff. You knew better. I tell you what, though, speaking of more serious issues, because I love this organization, tell me about the Citizens Academy. What's going on?
Yes, so we are so excited to kick off our Citizens Police Academy. We're going to begin the application process in the next few weeks. So look for that on our Facebook page for the link to get an application. And our Citizens Police Academy will be every Thursday in April, May, and June. So not quite 12 weeks. We're going to look at about 7 weeks is what we think we can do it in, but we wanted to do it where we have a little bit more daylight time. That's why we have a lot of practicals planned. We're going to have a lot of fun, but you're also going to learn a lot about your police department, what we can do for you and how we serve you.
Wonderful. And where's that going to be held?
It's going to be at our police training center, which is Coronado Center, room 5.
Room 5 in Coronado. And I want to go back to pick up just some other thing. We had done it at the old service station years ago, but we're moving it to the Coronado, understandable for all the reasons. And a fantastic organization. Can't say enough great things about them. But I think for the laity, for the 5 Mile High View, and you and I have touched on this before, but not everybody watches every episode with Dennis and Christy. I don't know if you know that.
Can you believe that?
No, not really. I can't, because darn entertaining, I think. But that said, the Citizens Academy is trying to, and this is my words, we're trying to give you a bird's eye view or a peephole view of what the actual police officer goes through. You get pulled over and there's flashing lights and you're like, I shouldn't have been going 45 in the 35. But the police officer comes up and goes, okay, I've got my hand on my pistol because I don't know what's going to happen. Right.
Absolutely. Traffic stops are the #1 cause of law enforcement deaths.
Really?
Yes.
Not high-speed chases, none of that.
It all starts with a traffic stop.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? And we joke about it, and I don't want to downplay this in any way. I think you've said this before. We have every crime that's in a major city. We just don't have as many of them.
Yes,
right?
I'm very thankful for that. We want to keep it that way because we have such an amazing group of residents here that are very supportive. The outpour of law enforcement support here is just absolutely incredible. Our Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, they are instrumental in doing things for us to help us do our jobs better. And so we can serve you better as a community. So we're so appreciative of all of that as well.
Well, and you brought up a great point here a minute ago. Is it the HSV Police, or how do I get to the Facebook page?
So it's Hot Springs Village Police Department. That's our Facebook page. And all you do is just put in there in the search Hot Springs Village Police Department and it will come up. Now, HSV CPAAA has also a page, and that's the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. But to be a part of the association, you've got to go through the academy. So we're looking for another group, a brand new group of residents that are willing to step up and come through the class with us, learn a lot of great information about your police department, how we serve you each and every day, and just a little bit about what we go through.
Well, and I wanted to bring up a couple of other things and we need to make it a shorter episode than last time. God, we just talked on and on, I'm telling you. But no, I want to make note that a couple of things. The Citizens Academy, I wanted people to go to the Facebook page and follow at the Facebook page, because so much great information. We got posts when there was the tornado in Jesseville, and when it's a great center. I know that the radio station, actually KVRE, actually follows the police Facebook page, because we learn so much so quickly in case you can't get there.
Yes, it's an excellent social media outlet that we can push out any type of information that we need, especially if we're looking for somebody, if we've got a senior that's been missing, or if we've even got a situation to where we've got an issue at the gates, anything like that, we can communicate pretty quickly and push it out. But we always utilize KVRE as well to make sure that they're in the loop. They're an excellent resource as well.
Well, I know, and you said you've been here 9 months, and it doesn't seem like 9 months. You still have the new police officer smell. I mean, yeah. My point being, what did you expect to see, and what's different? What did you not expect to see, and what did you expect to see? And give us the nine month preview.
So in the last 9 months, this was my dream job anyway, getting to be home and serve my community. I didn't expect the amount of police support. I've never encountered that before. I mean, in Texarkana, we had great support from citizens and individuals. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't anything like you see nationally, but to be here and to see it coming through the door every day, people just saying, hey, thank you so much, individuals calling because they had a police officer. The officers that we have here are incredibly patient, smart, and well qualified. More than I could have ever dreamed of. Not that I didn't expect it. I just didn't realize that being here, because of the slower call volume, these guys are more dedicated to being able to serve and protect. And it's pretty phenomenal to see. They go above and beyond every single call. It's not just they come to the door, they say hi, take your report and go. I mean, these guys are following up. We had an individual who had a medical situation in the roadway, and the officer gets there and he refused life next. He just wanted to go home. Well, that officer was worried about him, and for like days he kept checking up. We don't ask that, but that's the kind of heart they have here. Our officers are amazing servant hearts, and that's what it takes to be incredible, and they are absolutely incredible. What I didn't expect was the amount. I really kind of thought you said it earlier. This is Mayberry. I don't use that term, but I do understand if you're not on the inside in this office like I am, you don't imagine it to be so much. And that being said, I don't think that we're crime ridden or anything like that. It's an incredible neighborhood, but the call volume is a lot. It's a lot. You've got individuals, and this is why, because you have neighbors wanting to keep this place amazing. So they do call. If they hear a gunshot, it's not allowed in the village because we have 2 city ordinances or county ordinances, both Saline and Garland, to prevent that from happening. But when it happens, we get not 1 call, but we get about 8.
and literally, it's somebody a half mile on the outside the gates who was shooting a turkey or something, right? I mean, that happens.
Yes. But what happens if it wasn't? What happens if it wasn't that situation and we didn't get any calls at all? So, I'm thankful for that amount, and I'm thankful that we have tremendous resources when it comes to our residents here. They're incredible. They want this place to be great. I've said it before, the criminal element will only establish itself where allowed, and it surprises me how much that criminal element is not allowed in this village. And that's the biggest part of the battle, because we can be here in black and white cars and we can be here patrolling your neighborhoods, but we can't be successful alone. And the amount of residents and law enforcement support to make sure that this is the best place on earth is prevalent everywhere you go. And it makes this job 100% better, but it makes our community the best, second to none anywhere else.
And it's funny you should say that, because and I'm not even going to go down that path. I know we're you and I, either one are, but we hear places where to even discuss defunding or to try a different path, you would get stones thrown at you here in the village. Understandably, I think so. Right?
I think so too. I think so too. I don't think that would ever be a discussion here.
And part of that is because, and I'm going to be careful with this term, to some degree, it is self-policing. And to that end, somebody says, literally, like you said a minute ago, people drive by and go, oh, look, guy laying on the ground. Huh, okay.
That doesn't happen here.
No,
it doesn't happen here. And even vehicles on the side of the road, most often when somebody calls because it's there, they might be hunting, they can't see the permit, or it's just a vehicle that's broke down with a little note saying I ran out of gas, I'm coming back. But we get several calls on those things. So, it's amazing to see that this is a community that self-polices, that wants it to stay great, that knows that they can be good stewards of our community by calling in 911 when they see something. And it really is helpful. It really is. I
can see where that really would be. I mean, it's like you're not doing your job by yourself. It's we're all working together on that. To that end, Christy, okay, now if I see somebody tailgating through that gate, I chase them down and I'm flashing my lights at them and I give them a good piece of my mind, because that'll do good, right, Tracy? Right, Christy?
Nope, it's not going to do any good. And the thing is what we have found is that most of the tailgaters are village residents.
Really?
Yes. Most of the tailgate, and I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Most of the tailgaters are village residents. They went out the Gazebo gate to go get their Walmart. They're taking their fancy weekend car and they forgot their card because they don't want to put that sticker on the car. So they live here, so they're going to just tailgate right on in. And then we get a call on it. Now, it's against policy. We all signed up to live here under the same rules and regulations that we want this to be the greatest place, right? Stop tailgating. Stop it. Drive around. Drive the 8 miles. I know you're in your fancy car anyway. Drive to the front gate, tell them who you are, show them that you live here, and move on.
You need to drive that fancy car more. I mean, really, right?
Just not real fast through the gate, because I see that too.
Oh, wow. I know. Let's talk. And we're in that window, so I want to talk about stickers. And I know you're not the sticker department. When will we be enforcing new stickers?
So gates your new stickers are out. So you need to make sure that you get them. I'm not really clear on that policy and how that works, but I know that the gates are already looking for them. So make sure you have stickers and
they're looking for them. I was told by one of the gate workers that there was till February 28th.
Yes.
And I think that's very gracious, but I'll make note on March 1st, you're going to get hold on right there, Padre. We're going to talk to you.
Right. Yes. But you go ahead and put them on there because they're looking at them now. So save yourself the time. They're pretty in pink this year. I love it.
I noticed that. I thought it was photoshopped or something. I thought that was a joke. Who made them pink, right? And by the way, for those of you who don't know yet, we have the weekend show on KVRE at 10 o'clock every Saturday and Sunday morning, Hot Springs Village Inside Out Radio Edition. And I got news for you. You just made the cut again, because you people in the back, y'all are going to hear this. Christy, as always, it's a delight. We'll put a link to the Facebook page. We'll put a link to the Police Academy, and we will see you next time. Okay.
Thanks for watching and listening to Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a weekly podcast starring Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Visit the website at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com.